Hello, hello, hello. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Just giving you guys a second to come on in. I am definitely late getting on. I usually want to get on around 5:30, but your girl is dealing with a headache. I got my booster shot, the COVID booster. Got a little headache, a little tired, a little tired, a little tired, but we are here. Um, this is what is this? One, two. This is maybe Mm, what week is this? This is probably third our third episode as it pertains specifically to or third, I say episode, um, our third live specifically in the Black Women in Leadership series called What We're Not Gonna Do. And so I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes to get on, and I'm going to share with you guys sort of the next step. We've been talking about imposter syndrome. We've been talking this week even about your inner critic. We've been talking about making sure that we're not getting in our own way. And a lot of times, I'm trying to fix my shirt here, make sure I don't flash y'all. But yeah, this headache is getting to me. So I'm only going to be with you guys briefly. But let's see here. Johnny, what was that? Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Get your notebook, get your pen. Johnny, last time, he in there trying to break the house down. Let's see. Okay. I need to turn these notifications off so we're not hearing this the entire time. On this other little small tablet. Y'all coming on in? Y'all coming on in? All right. So I wanted to focus today specifically on getting started. A lot of times it is difficult. Okay, I think I got it. Turning off these notifications. Getting started. How do you get started? And I was talking yesterday specifically on a separate live, specifically as it pertains to not getting in your own way, being for yourself, not against yourself, in ways that you can identify, you can prime yourself for change. But not everybody knows how to do that, right? So there is a lot of information out there in regards to mindset. And I want to talk about mindset with a little bit of a twist. And the twist is going to be most specifically focused on mind renewal. But before you can get into that space of mind renewal, I want to share a little bit about why it's important. It is very hard to prepare yourself for change, to be motivated for change, to really do anything different than what you're used to, as far as like what's your routines, what are you used to doing, what is the typical format in which you would start something or not. And ultimately, it comes from a place of what's actually in your spirit. Now, mind you, I'm not only talking a little slow to let you guys come on in the room and get your good pen, but I want to take it a little slow also because I want you to hear where I'm going with it. If your spirit isn't right, if your spirit is in this place that's definitely in a cycle that is destructive, like I said, we have been talking about really being in that space where we aren't aware of, are able to act upon, able to stop our imposter syndrome, our inner critic, all the things like that. And sometimes we have to understand how much of it is spiritually based, okay? And so I want to take you guys on a little bit of a journey, like, you know, just roll with me here. Like I said, I hope you have your notepads because this is going to be something that you're going to want to dig into. Johnny, I'm busy. I said that I was going to have a quick.
The boom sound was my toy.
Okay, baby. Thank you.
But it was an accident.
That's fine. Thank you. All right. There's something that I had spoke on back in September. For those of you that are aware of, there's this a women's it's called Preserve for a Purpose. I was doing with one of my good friends, sorority sisters, where we were doing a spiritually based. It was a Bible study, but it was more of like a spiritual support group because a lot of times we don't realize how much of our baseline spirit either guides us to be motivated for change, guided to be motivated to be for ourselves and not against ourselves. And like I said, if you were able to catch some of my my lives or posts that were specifically on imposter syndrome, the inner critic, then this is the standpoint that I'm coming from with it. And so where I want to take you is how to get started. And it comes from a place of not just what is familiar and catchphrase these days with mindset coaching, but I want to say that there's even an element of getting past your current cycles of incomplete tasks, your cycles of empty promises to yourself, empty promises to the people that you serve in your business, promises to those that are looking up to you as a leader. Again, this could be in your home, this can be in the community, it can be in your job, your business. And so there's this scripture that I had come across, and I'm believing this is it. It was specifically 2 Samuel, where the thing that came up for me in that particular Bible chapter was, who are we and why are we here? We have to understand from a spiritual place because there's so many distractions going on. You can easily think that, oh, your job is why you're here. You have to come from a place of purpose. And so as you're preparing for change, as you're preparing to do yourself a favor and empower yourself through your growth and mindset, you want to consider, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Why was I created? Right? Because when it's all said and done, that ends up contributing to your big why. A lot of times when you're working with a coach, one of the first things that are asked as far as like, what are we going to work on? What's the goal? What are we doing? Mindset coaching, business coaching, revenue goals, whatever it is, it's what is your big why? What is your big why? And so I, again, want to dig a little deeper. And it's not just about what's your big why, but you can't even answer that question unless you know who you are. What's your purpose? Why are you here? There's so many people building a certain level of mindset based off of things. Oh, I want to be able to reach $10,000 within a month, as an example. And while that may be one of the fruits of your labor, you want to ask yourself, why am I doing the things that I'm doing that are ultimately going to create any of these things that people want, or even for yourself? So as it pertains to mindset, as it pertains to tackling your inner critic, tackling imposter syndrome, preparing for a change, I was like, what? Let's not go forward in this series of what we're not going to do or how to truly show up with superpowers on deck, like all of your knowledge, skills, abilities, all of your abilities to influence, all that you're doing, all the steps that you're taking. Let's first start with, who are you? Because then you will be able to get to a point where you have a legitimate big why. So again, I'm coming from 2 Samuel, this 22nd chapter. And one thing that comes up a lot when I'm coaching people is issues with feeling lost, feeling a little bit detached. And again, all the things that come with feeling insecure, all the things that come with feeling like, am I doing the right thing? Am I going in the right direction in my business, in my personal life, in my relationships? I noticed this or that trend. And so one thing that is for sure is, when you are understanding who you are, you're understanding not just your purpose, but then let's rewind. We're also understanding whose you are. Okay. So in 2 Samuel, there's a lot that you can glean from this.
To put that on right there.
My baby telling me I needed to put on my earrings. Well, I'm fine, baby.
Okay.
He gave me these earrings, like, don't forget to put these on. Okay. But I'm looking 2 Samuel 22nd chapter. Okay. Let me refocus here. I got sort of sidetracked when he was talking about these things. But in this chapter, there's scriptures that point to, okay, if you're feeling lost, where do you go then? Understanding, okay, then the Lord is my rock. Okay. So then when you're asking yourself questions of, if you don't trust your knowledge, skills, and abilities, is it really about that? Is it really that? Or is it that maybe we need to trust in him? I know one of my professional colleagues and friends is like, well, where do we go when we're even identifying our goals, identifying how we want to show up, why we want to show up? Where does that come from? Does it come from you getting alone with yourself and having time with God to understand, like, what is it that I'm supposed to do? That's just like, and I always make reference to this because my dad used to all the time when he would give his sermons. It was like, if you identified yourself as a watch, then you are understanding that there's a watch maker. And if you're having trouble functioning as a watch, what do? You take it to a watch maker. So if you're having trouble identifying who you are before you even get to that place of, how am I going to show up? How do I get past this imposter syndrome? How do I get past just all these negative thoughts like that keep coming up? And I keep bringing this up and I keep saying imposter syndrome because I want to keep pointing it out until we get to a point and realize that, yeah, there's some things that keep coming up, preventing us from showing up as our best selves. And it's all in our head. But we can't get there if we understand that to be the normal cycle and we don't do much else about it, right? So just follow me here for a little bit. And we got the pregnancy therapist up in here. Hey, girl. So just had to stop and give you a shout out real quick. But I want to even point to this, that in 2 Samuel, the 22nd chapter, it talks about making moves, even when you feel unsafe, even when you feel insecure about yourself. And I'm talking from a place of imposter syndrome, not from a place of there's actual impending doom. There's actually things going on that are compromising to your health. That's totally different. So understand that. And I'm about to repeat it. When I talk about moving despite these things, I'm saying you at some point did a fact check and you understand that according to the facts of what's in your natural environment, there is no reason why you can't move forward. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. And it says, in my distress. And this is why I'm saying we need to move forward and understand where we are and why we're here. You don't get there unless you get to the place of, I'm going to sit and have some time with God, my creator. I'm not about to sit up here and go to someone that is, want to give you some sort of reading and, tell you to go to the universe. I'm talking about the creator of the universe, and I'm talking about your creator. Who created you and why? Have you taken time to sit down and do that? And again, this conversation is all about mindset, and it's mindset from a spiritual place. Okay. How can you get started? Right? It's not the mindset type of things that we normally hear about where you just think positive, because at a certain point, there's going to be things happening in life that makes it difficult to think positive, that makes it difficult to really push. And what I'm saying is, when you dig deep and you know what your purpose is, you will realize the difference between your inabilities, what it is that God is asking you to do, and he's going to give you the strength to do supernaturally, because we're talking about superpowers here. We talk about black girl magic and all that, but I want to talk about being in tune with your creator so that you then, in fact, can always have some sure facts, and the facts even being from a spiritual place, reconnecting the intangible, reconnecting the dots before we can start building, before we can get in that place where we can say, you know what, that thought doesn't serve me, and that thought is not like God, right? So in this chapter, in my distress, I called upon the Lord and cried to my God, meaning you're going to God, you're spending time in prayer, you're spending time connecting with your purpose, because you are understanding who created you. And that's actually where you can get all your answers. Strategies, come on now. Like unbeat strategies, endless. And it says, when you cry upon him, when you go to God, he's going to hear you. He's going to hear you. And when he intervenes, and this is going into verse like 7 through 10, when God intervenes, when God shows up after you've gone to him to ask some questions, to really do some digging, to be like, out of everything that I've been doing, whether it's attempts, whether it's strategies, whether it's mindset, out of everything that I've been doing in a cycle, in this, pervasive search for more, and this pervasive sense of what next, when God intervenes in the spiritual or the natural, all of heaven and earth is at your disposal. It's in the Bible. Okay. It's there. And I just dare you to just try it and see, because I wonder how many that are watching this, and I wonder how many Black women I'm wondering how many Black women who are in leadership are being held back from having the impact that they need, because they're in this place of lack. They're in this place of not understanding where their strength comes from. They're not in this place of understanding that when it's all said and done, if you are in alignment with what you're supposed to do, you can do a live while you got a headache and be having food cooking for your son, and you have medical issues, as an example. Let's get to the point where we aren't just motivated, but we're inspired by the very unseen that can actually be manifested in the natural way. I want y'all to just try it, because when it's all said and done, if we continue in a cycle of believing what we've been told, when we're in this cycle of wondering why something doesn't work, or why is it that even though I'm making my monetary goals, for example, I'm meeting my goals. I get, 5 to 10,000. Some people are aiming for 20,000 in a month. Like, I got that, but something still is missing. Sometimes it's more. And I'm talking to the folks like that. I'm talking about the women who have everything that they need, but something's missing. Something isn't lasting. Something isn't sticking. And you feel like you're having to like work it. And it's like, wait a minute. There is a ripple effect. And my personal vision is that I inspire women, especially my Black and brown women who are in leadership, because of how much power we have, to deepen our spiritual and true relationships with our Creator, with God, so that we can fully fulfill our purpose, because someone's waiting on you. Someone is waiting on the transformation that your voice and your presence is going to bring. This message isn't for everybody, and I get that, but I have to stay true to my purpose, right? Like, before I had laid down, which was when my headache first started around 3-something this afternoon, I'm like, I need to just get back into alignment, because I have all these thoughts, I have all these things that I want to do, that I want to talk about, but ultimately it's up to what it is that I'm supposed to say for the people that's supposed to hear it. Right? Uh-oh. She says she can't hear me. Uh-oh. Nothing is showing crazy on this end, but there will be a replay. So if anything happened with the audio, I'm going to check it when I reset the replay. Okay. So I'm hoping that it isn't completely lost. Okay. But ultimately, being in divine alignment automatically improves your performance. This is what I'm saying. It automatically improves your performance. And that's, again, in your relationships, intimate, family, otherwise, in your work, the quality of your life, your mindset. Like, we can't even talk about that until you get to a place where you are in alignment. So, want to talk about mindset, having a shift in your mindset? Well, it comes from this place of tapping in to what your true purpose is. Because there's always going to be some story from way back when someone said something that got you in this place of fueling your inner critic by accident. Not that you meant to do that, but it's fueling your inner critic. You have more information than you need because you have situations in your life, people that have been in your life that have said things that stuck. It struck a chord. It wasn't necessarily what it is that you truly believe or want to believe of yourself, but we have to be in that place. We have to be in that place where we say, let me take a minute, whatever my goals are, however I want to get started, however I want to prime myself for change, however I want to prime myself for transformation, because they are different. Change for some of these short-term goals, things that you want to meet, things that you want to have, but then true life transformation, all these things come from being delivered from these negative thought patterns who could end up being your greatest enemy. It's not necessarily you. It's that inner critic. It's those stories that have been told from actions or inactions, or people overtly having something to say about who you are. And it replays in your mind, right? It replays in your mind. So when we talk about how do I get started? How do I get started with really enhancing my impact, enhancing my quality of business impact, my quality of living, my relationships? How do I do that? My friendships. Like, I have had so many clients that share with me, things have changed. Like the friends that were there before aren't the friends now. And I'm just trying to get a grip on this. And that's fine. Not everybody's supposed to stay, and we know that. But we're talking about how do we get out of these cycles that's preventing us from having the greater impact that we need. Because ultimately, when you're having the greater impact, you're having the impact that is aligned and perfected specifically for you to speak to and help transform the people in which you serve. As a therapist, I got to stay in alignment because I have to know when I need to pull back and when I need to push forward with encouraging or helping someone tap into resolve from past traumas, for example. How do I do that? How do I do that if I'm not in alignment, if I'm not anchored, if I'm not going to God on, give me the things to say? That's some powerful stuff to have that permission, to have that permission, to have access to the innermost desires, goals, visions of like, I'm saying listing these things because you may not be a therapist. You may be someone that's like just trying to help somebody with their marketing. Like you are a leader in the space of marketing, engineering leader. You may be a medical doctor, helping people heal through like physical healing, saving lives that way, helping people live out their visions of being able to impact other people through their talents. But how do you get there? How do you get started? And the way to get started, like I said, is very simple. When you take time out, even if you don't know about prayer, it's not, you don't know about meditation, like sometimes it's not even what you think it is. Sometimes it could really just be getting quiet with yourself and starting out with some introspective efforts. I'm going to think about what I'm thinking about. I'm going to dig deep into my thoughts and process what is going on. I'm going to get quiet. I'm going to quiet my mind. And I'm just going to ask this question in my heart, in my body, and in my soul. Who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? And we may have heard of the terms of like tearing. And y'all, I grew up like hardcore, like tearing service. There's a service for it, But when you dig deep into the meaning of tearing, it's wait. Wait until you know on a spiritual level, this is what I'm supposed to do. But while you're doing it, you work. You go with, your gut initially. You're like, this seems about right. I'm being led in this direction, but it's being led after putting it out there in your prayers, in your meditation, in your quiet time, connecting with the creator of the universe. And you're saying, what am I to do? How am I to serve? How am I to lead? And when you get to that level, a lot of times, and for some people, and I will warn you, for some people, that's all you need. You just needed to get quiet the whole time to quiet those negative thoughts. This entire week, and since we started, what was that, last Thursday, we've been talking about just getting quiet, being still. Even if you have built this certain life, even if you have gone to this certain place in your business and in your career where you're like, oh, I'm good. No, there's always levels. There's always levels. There's always deeper depths. That was hard to say for a second. But be delivered. Be set free from every single thing, person, environment, situation. And you know what these are. That's keeping you from that shift in mindset, right? Get there. So I hope, again, this is sparking some thoughts, sparking some ways in which, or avenues in which, you can do a little digging on your own time, right? Do digging on your own time. How do I deliver myself from these negative thoughts, from this fear of pushing, from this fear of pitching my idea to this publishing house, for example? How do I push beyond just my already assigned clients? How do I delve into the deep? Because if we really truly showed up as powerful as we are, there's a lot of mountains that would be shaken. Okay. And that's what I'd like to ignite. I'd like to ignite transformation, not just change, not just a mindset growth, but a spiritual, holistic, like complete spiritual awakening, if I could say it that way. Right. So I hope you got something out of this. Questions to ask yourself. How often have I delivered myself from my mess? Where do I go now? How will I find the road to my purpose? Like I said, check out this 22nd chapter of 2 Samuel and begin to understand what your true vision is based off of your true purpose. Okay. So I think that's it. I just want to leave you there. Because you can be delivered. God will intervene. And again, I don't want you to think it is anything other than who it is. If you've been praying and speaking to the universe, start praying and speaking to the creator of the universe and see how much more of a return on that investment will be. Okay. So I'm going to let y'all go. I usually try not to stay on here long. Thursday is the longer day because on Tuesdays, I'm usually focused more on some facts, information facts. Okay. And on Thursdays, I really want to guide you guys through the avenue of being inspired. So you guys take care. I really, really, really appreciate you guys following. Share this. If this message wasn't for you, but you know someone who may be seeking a way out of a rut, seeking a way out of a toxic cycle, seeking a way out of inactivity, passivity in their fulfilled purpose. So you guys take care. This is Dr. Shanae of SP Consulting Group. I forgot to say that at the beginning. This is Dr. Shanae of SP Consulting Group. I'm a licensed psychotherapist as well as an organizational development psychologist, where I aim to focus on holistically finding work-life balance, which definitely leads to harmonious living. And for my fellow Black women in leadership, I want you guys to change the narrative. And that's why we're doing this series. So show up again. We'll be back on Tuesday, the 25th, with some more information that can help you grow, be inspired, and truly transform your life. Okay? All right. I will see you guys later. Bye.